and welcome to episode 23 of the Player 3 podcast. I'm your host, Luke Croft. Alongside me, we have the always visually stunning Larry Hunt.
Hola.
And next to me on the other side, we have he can fix you a nice, delicious glass of Pepsi and steal your daughter's heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Martin.
What's going on in here?
It wasn't George Michaels this week.
Oh, I had to mix it up a little bit. I kind of lost track of what I was going to do.
Never gonna dance again?
I'm never going to dance again. It was going to appear anyway.
That's all right.
And then over here on the far right, we have Benjamin D. Hankins.
Hello.
The D stands for, I don't know. Don't play that song again, please. That's what it stands for.
Oh.
And
Wish I had it pulled up. I would have.
Would be a great time. We are the Player 3 podcast. We get together every Monday to talk about video games, chat along with you guys on the Twitch stream, and then it gets pushed out to our listeners on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Blueberry, all those sorts of places for your enjoyment. Today is a special day here at P3P because this is a mega stream. We are doing our standard hour-and-a-half episode. We're going to do the 30-minute after-party lounge where you can chill with us and talk to us and ask us random crap about who we'd kill so that I can get in trouble with Ben more this week. And then after that, we will be revealing our Protagonist Madness bracket, which we'll try to push out to our Podbean listeners either Monday night or Tuesday morning, where we put 64 characters in a bracket. We've ranked them and seeded them, and then we will let our listeners vote every round, and then we'll reveal the winners in some way. We haven't really decided yet. So Protagonist Madness starts later tonight, probably sometime around 6:15, 6:30.
Later tonight.
Tonight.
How we doing, guys?
Pretty sleepy. We don't have coffee today.
I'm super tired.
We didn't have coffee last week either, though. We brought the energy hard.
I brought my own coffee last week.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
I got my pre-show nap in, and I've got high hopes for where things are going to go.
Yeah, I'm tired too, but that's because we spent quite a while in the dungeon that is Larry's living room with the heavy curtains.
I hate light.
I don't understand why. I love the sunlight and rainbows and fairies and pixies and unicorns. Love them. All right.
You can't apples.
Let's get this episode like we get every episode started.
Over.
Not
With the news.
We almost made it through without saying that.
with
so close.
the releases of the week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap.
All right, coming out this week on consoles, on both consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, we have Battlefield Hardline. I'll give my thoughts on that here later, and then we have Final Fantasy Type 0. Any Final Fantasy fans in here?
Not particularly.
Not me either. So,
If anyone, I figured it would be Larry.
yeah.
I find turn-based RPGs enjoyable, but I just never buy any of them.
I find them very boring.
Yeah, I've never really been into it. And then
Probably upset a lot of people.
It's okay.
And then we have Bladestorm Nightmare, and I'll read the description for this. This latest release in the series brings the latest techniques and many new elements to the original story from the 2007 release of Bladestorm, The 100 Years' War. Players play as a mercenary and take control of a multitude of different squad types in order to guide their side to victory on a dynamically evolving battlefield. So it's a strategy game. So that's what is releasing on both consoles, and now going on to what is releasing exclusively on the PlayStation 4. Let's see what we have here. We have Cabela's African Adventures. Explore the vast wilderness of Africa on foot and by vehicle. Where you'll go head-to-head with more ferocious beasts on the planet as you attempt to take down the biggest of the big five: the rhino, lion, leopard, the Cape buffalo,
Of course.
and the African elephant.
All right, Ben, what I'm going to need you to do is Google Cape Buffalo. Show me a picture so I can see what it is.
Got it.
And then we have to determine how many minutes it would take Ben Hankins to take it down
With his bare hands.
with just his hands.
The African buffalo. Is that good?
I guess.
It's
It's the kind with like the little 60s lady hair horns.
Or like the pirate mustache.
Oh, is there a picture of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Or the.
Oh, okay.
It's like the curly Q mustache. The one that like gives the bigger cheeks.
Right.
So it's like a fun legal way to poach.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm pretty sure all of these animals are illegal to kill. So, how many minutes would it take you to kill that with your bare hands? I'm going 19.
I could maybe kill it in 3.
Oh
If I
God!
could
3
grab
minutes.
his horns at just the right angle and like jerk his neck.
I'm saying 55 minutes.
And then he dies at the end.
I'm
of it.
thinking it's gonna be like John Henry and the Choo Choo Train. It's gonna take a couple days probably of just raw,
I'm just gonna
masculine
have
energy.
to like eat it alive. While
Yeah.
it's alive, and that'll kill it.
If you take enough bites out of something, it'll die.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't normally stop for the chat, but your wife is here,
Oh, hey, wife.
so that's pretty cool. And then let's see, what else do we have? We have Jamestown Plus. Mars is waiting. Bring your friends. Soar over the battlefields of 17th century steampunk Mars with up to 4 players and fight through 7 handcrafted levels on your quest to save Britain's last bastion, Jamestown Colony.
Wait, like 7 hands or the levels are handcrafted?
7 hand-crafted.
Oh, okay.
Or it's
7 hands
crafted
sounds
by
weird.
7 hands. They got
How does
4 people in a room and required 1 to tie their hand behind their back and then
That's-
crafted the map.
How does one handcraft a video game map?
You hand draw them and then you place them into the game. I don't
or
know.
with Play-Doh.
Clay.
You're the guy who's
It's
developed
claymation.
12 different titles.
It's all about positive energy. And
Claymation.
exactly.
You can handcraft a lot of stuff.
That's what I meant to say.
Those are synonyms, I think.
One and the same.
And that is everything that is releasing on the PS4 this week and then releasing on Xbox One exclusively. The standalone DLC for Forza Horizon 2, Fast and Furious. There's a lot of stuff coming this week.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
A lot of things.
And that wraps up your releases of the week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap.
Such disgruntlement. All right. And now we are moving on to the news.
News with the podcast, guys.
Happy birthday,
You guys looked
Seth.
at me like it was,
Happy birthday, Seth.
like it was upset. Happy
I'm
birthday,
always
random
upset
viewer.
at your jingles.
First item on the list, we have Titanfall 2 has been officially announced and is going to be multi-platform. This is according to an article from IGN. So, I mean, and then in other news, water is wet.
Yeah, yeah.
The sun is hot. And
Yeah.
Titanfall 2 is
Some
in
grass is
development.
blue.
It's being worked on. What are your thoughts on Titanfall 2, guys?
Woohoo!
I'll buy it.
I plan on buying it for PlayStation so Leary and Diaz can't play with us.
I love Titanfall, and I won't miss you at all. I don't need you to enjoy this game.
I
I'm
plan
a-
on just waiting until it's free because it'll be free soon.
Yeah, in about 3 or 4 years it might be free on.
This is from
Free?
This is from Respawn founder and CEO Vince Capella. He says, quote, I guess EA announced a sequel so I could play coy and pretend I don't know anything about it. Or, yeah. So we're working on a sequel. No official name yet, but we're working on that. That's the main focus, but we're starting up a second team and doing some smaller stuff too. Small, exploratory, taking it slow. It'll be multi-platform, end quote. So announcing what everyone knew all along. And so right now, I'm going to open this up with everybody's favorite section here. With some wild speculation.
Wild speculation!
Yeah.
Was that far enough?
And we're going to wildly speculate about Titanfall 2 concept, things that they're going to change.
Title.
Or title,
They-
okay.
They don't have a title yet. I would like to submit to Respawn Titanfall 2 Fightin' Tall.
It's too punny.
Yeah.
It's too punny.
Yeah.
Funny.
That was a good attempt, though.
I think it's
Thanks.
going to be like dog fights. Like you have rocket feet,
Rocket feet.
and you like fly around like Gundam Wing. Yeah. I don't remember much of Gundam Wing.
But it was awesome.
It was good when I did see
I
it.
remember all
Titanfall
of
2, no respawns. And it's funny because
It's developed by
It's
Respawn.
developed by Respawn, so yeah.
Play on words.
Shut up.
Titanfall 2. It's a Modern Warfare 2 remake.
I think they'll have a story that you can follow this time. I think they'll listen to the overwhelming amounts of feedback on that point.
Yeah, that was what I was going to bring up is like this is the first time both platforms are going to get to experience this title, and I don't see it going exclusive after that. And so now is the time where you kind of start to set up your story and create a fan base that's interested in characters in the world itself, and not just the fact that it's a bunch of awesome mechs pummeling on each other. So we have a question here. Milky513 says, something tells me EA will try to drop a ton of money on Respawn and try to keep Titanfall 2 for Xbox One only. Well, you guys, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they'll do it again.
I think if Respawn already said it's going to be multi-platform, it's going to be multi-platform, especially after all the crap they got for it being just Xbox this time.
And it seems like that was the plan to begin with, is make it multi-platform, and then they've been talking about it for so long. If it didn't happen now, it would upset more people than please.
And I mean, the exclusivity of Titanfall 2 was of the first Titanfall was really necessary for Xbox One survival. It was because it came at a time where exclusives for Xbox were few and far between, and they needed kind of that marquee thing to say, all right, buy your Xbox to play this. But by the time this is out, we're going to have Halo, we're going to have Tomb Raider, we're going to have Quantum Break. Like, there's going to be a lot of things out on Xbox where they're not necessarily going to need to rely on Titanfall to do what Titanfall 2 to do what the first Titanfall did. So I don't see that happening. But so yeah, then also some Titanfall news. The DLC for Titanfall now is free, and they kind of announced it. I think it was on the anniversary of their release, right?
Right.
And everyone just thought like, okay, well, this is to celebrate their release. But then they tweeted out a couple days later, and to let everybody know that this was not just a celebration. They said this content is free starting now and will remain free for all users who purchase Titanfall for Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC. And so if you're patient enough, this game's probably going to go on sale for $7 again eventually. And so you can own the entire package for $7. I think that's pretty awesome.
And Respawn kind of addressed that point and said that they were kind of following Evolve's lead in trying to keep from fragmenting the community with releasing maps that some people would have and some people would not. And I like that. I think, if I understand right, they're going to continue that into Titanfall 2. Like, buying DLC maps won't be a thing anymore for them.
Yeah. And I think, when we talked about Evolve's DLC model, that was something that we spent quite a bit of time on, was the fact that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can buy for Evolve, but none of it divides the community. If I buy a monster, I can still play with everybody even if they don't have the monster. Or if I buy some sort of skin to go on a gun or to change my outward appearance, like, none of it was divisive. And so I hope this is kind of the route that we see more and more first-person shooters take, because, even among the four of us, there are some of us that didn't own the season pass, and that limited what those of us who own the season pass could play on map-wise as far as what we own. So to make that free and to continue that as a model, I think is really, really cool. Next item on the list, Bloodborne has gone gold and is set to release here in a couple weeks.
My God.
Is anybody surprised? It's Pat did Larry line there.
All right, let's bring up the 100 Ben line.
I like how you always bring that one up, but don't bring up that you said the exact same thing right before the show started.
Oh, no, I did. I have billions of bad lines. I just got to let his...
Billions.
I feel like I'm the only one that's really excited about this game at this table.
It's only PS4. So
well, you can't be. Yeah, you can't be excited.
I'm not excited at all.
You do understand who's excited.
For our radio talk show, Ben has literally no words.
I'm excited about this game. The background of my phone right now is Bloodborne. The background of my computer right now is Bloodborne, and
all of the illnesses you have right now are Bloodborne.
That's right. I am very, very excited about Bloodborne, and Diz is over there looking really confused right now. I'm not positive. Oh, okay. But anyway, I borrowed your 360 to play Dark Souls, and I played a little bit of Dark Souls. Just And my main goal behind that was to kind of get a feel for if I would enjoy Bloodborne. And I enjoyed a lot of things about Dark Souls, but one of the things I didn't like was how defensive it was. Like, okay, I got to hide behind my shield, wait to get attacked a couple times and block, and then pick my moment and, go from there. And if it would have been a little bit more fast-paced, then I'd have been into it more. And now that I've watched Bloodborne and I've seen how they've tried to take the shield out of your hand and instead give you a gun for crowd control, and you don't have that thing to hide behind, like you have to be on the offensive all the time. That is the one thing I didn't like about Dark Souls was the pace that you had to play at. And from everything I've watched about Bloodborne, it seems like they've addressed those things. You're the other PS4 owner sitting around the table. What are your thoughts on Bloodborne?
Kind of the way we talked about it on Saturday. I'm just kind of in a meh place. I'll probably end up either buying it from you for $40 when you're done with it, if you're ever done with it, or maybe wait a few weeks and kind of try it out then. Maybe I don't know. But it does look exciting. It looks really dark and visually stunning. It's something that I will play eventually. I'm just not really sure how much of a priority it is right now.
That's the thing that I'm most excited about with the game is the atmosphere, like the setting. It's not medieval or anything like that. It's more gothic and grittier, darker, sort of. So that's what I'm looking forward to with it. Next item on the list, we have Uncharted 4 has been delayed. A lot of people. And I started trying to think back, like if was Uncharted ever said to be like this is a 2015 title? You guys remember?
Fairly recently.
Okay, they did.
I thought so.
Well, they've since come out and said that it is being delayed to come out in the spring of 2016. I'm going to find the quote here on this page because this is Naughty Dog, and I'm willing to give Naughty Dog the benefit of the doubt when it comes to, and I don't think this page has the quote on it that I thought it did. But basically, they just said the game was going to be more ambitious than they thought it was going to be when they started out, so they're just going to take their time. And most of the time, I hear that, and I'm like, oh, that's bullcrap. But then, this is Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog doesn't tend to bullcrap people very often, so I believe them.
I'll buy it. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why they have any reason to really lie about it right now.
It's still early on. I mean, it was only announced, last year?
Yeah.
They just had one trailer for it.
Yeah, and I mean, they've shown quite a bit of it, and what they show looks good. And so if they need extra time to polish it, then give them the extra time to polish it. And Naughty Dog's one of those people who they're going to make sure that they're not going to release crap. And so if they're taking the time, it's because they need it.
And maybe they're working on that Nathan Drake collection.
Ooh, see, I'd buy that in a heartbeat if they put Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 all on one disc and let us play it. Be so good.
With like new mapped controls for the new consoles. Gosh, yeah.
Well, really, all they would have to do is take the shoot buttons were on, L1 and R1 and move those to L2 and R2.
That's just I just couldn't stand it from PlayStation Now playing that way. I don't know why. I
feel like you could even change it on there, but I may be wrong about that. But yeah, and that would definitely get updated if they were to, bring that to current gen consoles. Next item on the list, this was one of the funnier headlines that I saw this week, is that Project Cars has gotten delayed yet again. This was supposed to come out in November, and then it was set to come out in March. Then it got delayed to April, and now it's been delayed to May.
And let's not forget the reasons. It was delayed first so that it was ready. They just didn't want to release in the same window as all those other driving games, right? This is the game.
Yes.
And then it turns out it actually wasn't ready, so they had to push back, and now they're pushing back again. That's cool.
At what point do you just say, "Hey, we'll tweet it out when you can go out and buy this game"? Like, I don't know. You lose some credibility when you continually push back.
It makes me think of when that Mirror's Edge 2 trailer aired 2 years ago. Do you remember the end coming? When it's ready. Oh, no,
I don't remember that. I feel like more and more studios should take that as their serious approach to game releases.
Yeah.
So I was going to make a point. I don't remember what it is. I feel like this is going to be one of those games that's like, hey, we don't have a review embargo, but we're not going to send out review copies just because they've delayed 17 times. All right, this will be something that we'll be able to talk about a little bit. Fans have been rallying to get a remaster of Modern Warfare 2 to come to next-gen consoles.
I'm actually really excited about that.
Why do you say why?
I mean, it exists. Like it. I don't know. What do people say that sets it apart so much from every other Call of Duty game?
See, that's the thing. If they're going to remaster a game, remaster Call of Duty 4, the very first Modern Warfare.
Right.
Like, because that was the thing that kind of set it out. Although this picture right here of the map with the plane, that brings back some nostalgia.
That's
Like, I feel
that's
like-
the only Modern Warfare I've ever been like way into,
Yeah, I
or the
feel like
only Call of
Modern-
Duty game I've ever been way into.
I feel like Modern Warfare 2 was like Modern Warfare was awesome, but then Modern Warfare 2, it's like we had that conversation earlier where the second game's always the best in the series.
Uh-huh.
That's the case with this. Like Modern Warfare 2 was a lot better than Modern Warfare, and I have so many memories with this game.
See, I don't necessarily remember it being a lot better. Like, I loved how just Modern Warfare felt pretty balanced to me. They had the was it 357 kill streaks,
Right.
and it wasn't all this customizable stuff. There was no nuke. There was nothing like that. So it was just your 357 kill streak, and you had to be good. I mean,
it was coming from like when Halo was probably the most popular first-person shooter, and then Call of Duty really came in and gave it a run for its money because it it added sprinting all the time. It did the kill streaks. It really gave it a lot of built up the speed and kind of what led us into Destiny and these fast-paced shooters now. Where Halo's a little more technical. You're just kind of walking at a brisk pace in combat. But I mean, I really just don't see the necessity. Maybe in 10 years, give me, like when Call of Duty, if they ever decide to call it quits, give me a collection of all of these games because it can be done that time. I don't know.
I mean, to speak to that point, the point you just made about the kill streaks, like that was a huge change that I loved from Modern Warfare 1 to 2, when you had customizable kill streaks and you could move around what you wanted to use and what you didn't want to use. Because I was the guy who didn't always want to have UAV, Predator missile, helicopter. I wanted to have low kill streaks so I could be more supportive than going after a nuke every round. And then there are some games where I wanted to play for, let me see how many kills I can get and how long I can stay alive, And I think the customization facilitated that more in the second game.
I think if there's one game that really perfected the riot shield, this was it.
You don't get too many shields in first-person shooters, do you? Abducted by Sharks brought up a good point I noticed on there. It's talking about Unreal Tournament being fast-paced. I do agree with that, but I feel like Unreal Tournament's a much more niche game. Like, you've got to be a part of a hardcore crowd to really have gotten into Unreal or Quake, something like that.
At that point, I guess the difference between Unreal and Modern Warfare 2 is console versus PC. When Unreal came to console, it wasn't the same game as it was back in the PC days.
That is true.
It was a third-person shooter for a while on consoles, which was weird and awkward for me.
Weird and wild, huh?
Half-Baked Paul says, half the maps on Modern Warfare 1 were very unbalanced. You won the match depending on which side you spawned on. And I'm trying to I'm terrible at recalling names. Like, I can describe it to you, where there was like two empty warehouse buildings, and there were like grassy areas on each side of it. Dang it. I'm so bad at...
I think I know what you're talking about, but
describing
it has been like 10 years.
Yeah, that's as much as you're getting from me.
No.
I understand that some things probably have become more balanced in that franchise throughout the years, but really, like, there's nothing more frustrating to me than in Call of Duty when you're playing domination and people can just get kill streak upon kill streak upon kill streak just by using their kill streaks, and then it becomes this never-ending loop where you can run 5 feet on the map and get blown up by an airstrike or one thing or another, and it becomes almost unplayable past a certain point. It really makes me miss those times when all you could get was like, what was it? What was the first kill streak? UAV. Then
Predator missile,
and then a helicopter.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
For like maybe a minute or something like that.
yeah. I mean, because like Modern Warfare 2, didn't you have the AC-130 and all your kills in the AC-130 counted towards your kill streak too? And it had like thermal.
All your kill streak kills counted towards your kill
Yeah.
streak. Yeah.
So it was easy to rack it up. Like people built it, and I don't know how many people said, "Hey, I'm going to keep my kill streaks low so I can be more supportive." I felt like in that Call of Duty, it was much more like, "All right, let's stack the big hitter ones in hopes that we get the nuke," and it was less about who was good at the main game of let's kill each other, and it was more about who could race to get the nuke first. And so I like Modern Warfare 1 better than I like the second one.
I was a fan of all three of them. I just remembered looking at these maps, Kimbo 1887s. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
Abducted by Shark says, isn't the real discussion about designing the game for the expert player versus the more average player?
I think I'm too average to grasp this question.
Yeah, because I don't know which. I guess what he's saying is like the more average player would be drawn to Modern Warfare 2 because of the like high kill volume, kill streaks. With that, and it's accessible to get up in an AC-130 and just fire down explosives at a thermal image of people.
I would agree with that because I've gotten to the point in my adult life where I play video games to have fun with them and not really to be really crazy, awesome, good at them. So, like, I don't have a whole lot of time to devote to. Like when I was in high school, I had a ton of time to devote to be like the greatest Call of Duty player ever or whatever. But now I have very little time. If I'm playing, I just want to be able to play and have a good time. So,
I think the heart of this crowd seeking to find this remaster, though, is that regardless of where we stand, that is arguably the Call of Duty game that was the most popular for the longest time. And I think a lot of people would still be playing it today if it hadn't been overrun with hackers. And that's kind of what they were like, remaster it so we can go back and play it. Because, yeah, we could pop the game in and go play on the old console, but it's just completely, it's Hacker City.
yeah.
So, Ben, you would vote for Modern Warfare 2?
I'd vote for any Modern Warfare to be remastered, honestly. Like,
If you could give me like the 3 games together,
Yeah, that would
be in
be
a
cool.
collection.
That would be sick.
that would be awesome.
I'd pay $100 for that probably.
I would not pay $100 for that, but
I mean, 3 games.
I didn't pay $100 for Halo. I'm not going to pay $100 for
Yeah, that's true.
for Call of Duty.
That's
So.
4 games. So yeah, never mind.
Becoming 5 when ODST comes to us.
They released the first
2017.
screenshot of that this week.
Yes, and it looked beautiful. Like, and even though they're just like upscaling that to 1080p, 60 frames per second. I mean, but if we learned anything from Halo 3, it's what I've seen of the Halo 4 multiplayer is like those games held up real well in getting just like the upscaling and not the full blown remasters. So, but yeah, I'd be cool with all of them on one disc. But if I was to have to choose one, I would pick the first Modern Warfare, and you'd pick Modern Warfare 2, Larry.
Just because of familiarity. That's the first Call of Duty game I really played online in.
I wish I could have Modern Warfare 1's campaign with Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. Modern Warfare 1 had that all gillied up mission where you had to like sneak in the ghillie suit and like that's like the best. That's probably the best first-person shooter mission ever.
And it's funny because every Modern Warfare after that had one of those sniper missions, I guess, trying to recapture the beauty of that mission, and none of them did. The sheer intensity of when you first start out and you're with Price, right? And Price tells you to lay down while the people are walking by you, and
the dog like comes near you.
Yeah, and
The thing of it is, I lost Price for a while. Like. You can lose him. I guess the graphics were so great. I thought they were so awesome back then that like he would be sneaking through the grass, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. I couldn't find where he went. So yeah, that was really cool.
Oh yeah, like when the tanks are coming by
Yeah.
and yeah.
Okay, Space Cake M80. He followed us earlier. Thanks for the follow. He says, Master Chief version of Modern Warfare. What kind of kill streaks would they have to use?
So like the game is Modern Warfare, but Halo themed kill streaks.
Yeah, let's do that.
ODST troopers falling down.
That'd be one.
Oh yeah, you call in some
Like,
hell
or like you
jumpers
call in an ODST to fight with you.
and energy shield.
Calling a pelican.
I think they kind of did that with Halo 4 with the ordnance drops. Really,
Yeah.
just like weapon drops that you would get
Yeah.
based on merit.
Is it the mat gun? You can shoot the mat gun down at somebody.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
like from
Take out a
orbit.
couple people. Yeah.
yeah. Energy sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy things that you could do.
Grab hammer.
A Spartan suit.
Oh, there you go. Let's see. Where am I at? Dead Space developers Visceral Games are interested in bringing another Dead Space game to console. Again, this is in an article according to IGN. And if EA can do Dead Space and Titanfall, they'd have a lot of people excited about their shooter franchises. So, let's see. I'll just read part of this article. It says, as developer Visceral Games prepares for Battlefield Hardline's launch, the studio says it would like to revisit the Dead Space series. Quote, many people here at Visceral have a warm spot in their heart for Dead Space, and right now we're busy with Hardline and other things. End quote. Visceral Games general manager Steve Papoutsis told Games TM, but began quote again, but it's definitely something we'd love to look at again. End quote. Have any of you guys played the Dead Space games?
I played the first one, and I really enjoyed it for a while until I kind of got back to my classic, torn relationship with survival horror, where I ran out of ammo at like one critical point in the game, and I couldn't get back to a checkpoint to get ammo, so I kind of became stuck at this part of the game, and of course it would happen to me of all people. And I just couldn't progress any further, so I got upset and traded the game in.
I played a demo of one. It was pretty intense. I was real disturbed by the baby things. That bothered me.
It was really interesting because in that franchise, it's like you're fighting zombie alien things, but you're not having to go for the headshots. You've got to like dismember them limb by limb.
It was a fascinating concept. Like the aliens like took the bodies of people and mutated their forces, right?
Yeah, I guess you're gonna say that they stole that from Halo, right?
Oh, I wasn't, but
okay. But now that you mention
like
it, I think
I always wanted to play those games, and I never have really had the chance.
So it's something I kind of like to go revisit if they came out with a collection, I guess.
So what makes Dead Space so unique? Like, what sets it apart from other shooters?
Your character's not a soldier, for one thing, right?
Yeah, you're like on a mining ship, and you're I guess you
like,
go to investigate it or something like that.
You're basically an engineer that just kind of got dropped into the thick of it.
Yeah, you're there to repair this ship that's dead in space. Dead Space. What's up? And then basically you're kind of. I think you start the whole first game. You don't really see your character, do you? It's kind of that Master Chief classic. You don't see this guy's face. I think he ends up coming in later.
Half Baked Paul says the thing that sets it most apart is the story, and how when the more people that die, the more monsters that get made that you have to fight. So, so that's cool. I'd be looking forward to that.
It was really interesting because it kind of in the capacity that it was survival horror in space. It was really interesting to see the ways they did. Like, you had to keep your oxygen tank full because certain sequences would have you out in space kind of with grav boots on, and you would have to kind of concentrate and preserve your oxygen to survive. It was something we really hadn't seen in things like Silent Hill and games like that because they're terrestrial shooters.
So it has kind of like a survival horror aspect to it.
It's very much survival horror.
Oh, okay.
It kind of takes some things from the more action-y Resident Evil games, as they've evolved over time. But it did really hold on to that creep factor, like someone was just saying in the stream, for all three of the games.
I remember one point that I was just real nervous because I kept like hearing like this popping, and I wasn't sometimes it was nothing, but sometimes it'd be something coming at me from behind.
Right.
I was watching a Watch Mojo video one day, and they had like the top 10 scariest moments in the video game, the top 10 like freak you out moments in the video game. There's a part in Dead Space where you had to perform eye surgery on yourself.
Oh.
And you have to, and like apparently like the thing shakes and you have to like get it in the right spot, and if you don't, like this huge drill just goes straight down through your eyeball and you die.
Oh yeah, I can't handle that stuff. This is only mildly related. I was watching an episode of Workaholics the other day, and Blake was trying to get a blood sample from the guy who lives in a van. I don't remember his name, but anyway, so he takes his razor blade and he's like, "All right, you just gotta nick me." So he goes to nick him and he doesn't. It's not working. He's like, "All right, just try to go the other way." And he starts doing it, doesn't do it. And he's like, "Let me see the razor." Picks it up, goes. Licks it, and it slices his tongue in half, and it was horrifying, and it was fully there. It didn't go off at all. You just saw it dig in, and I'm like, why would they show this on television?
The Evil Dead remake.
Yes,
the Evil Dead remake.
I had been attempting to avoid the Evil Dead remake to avoid that scene, and their Workaholics gives it to me. I was so mad.
I almost passed out in that movie.
It wasn't good. I watched it at my house. I couldn't finish it.
You didn't like the Evil Dead
gory.
remake?
It wasn't good.
I love the Evil Dead
It was
remake.
a great film. It was just so gory I couldn't handle it.
It was scurry. It was real scurry.
Moving on.
Yeah, so that's, I keep imagining it. The tongue, it just goes in my mind. All right, next item on the list. The BBC is creating a TV drama based on the making of Grand Theft Auto. I thought this story was interesting. This is from Engadget. It says, as part of a major initiative to get the UK into coding, the BBC is creating a new TV show based on the making of Rockstar's best-selling game series, Grand Theft Auto. Not much is known about the show, but the BBC simply states that a, quote, new BBC 2 drama based on Grand Theft Auto, unquote, is on its way. And basically, the story goes on to read about how they want to have more of a they want to encourage like people who are in high school to pursue programming and game development because London, England doesn't have much of a presence in terms of game studios. So they're hoping that showing how Rockstar went about making Grand Theft Auto will inspire kids to want to pursue a career. And I think it's funny, though, that they're doing it on a game where most of the kids that would be watching this show to get inspired aren't even old enough to purchase the game.
Right.
So I think that's a cool way to try to get kids involved, though.
Sort of. I don't know how effective it'll be. Like, as a teenager, I was one of those kids like, oh man, I want to design games when I grow up. And then I took my first programming class and realized that I just don't have the patience to do that for any amount of time, really.
See, I was kind of the opposite. I at first decided I wanted to do, every video game, most video game people want to at some point design video games. And I thought about it and I was like, man, everybody designs video games. I want to do something else. And
I want to sell bootleg video games
apparently that isn't the thing.
to children.
Which is interesting.
I want Seth to design video games, and then I steal it just prior to release and release it for myself.
I would like to cherry pick, yes.
But, you mentioned that, like, you started playing video games, thought, man, I would like to design video games, and then you signed up for a class. And so this show, people may watch it, and it's getting them in that first class that matters. And then the people who are talented at it will stick with it, and the people who it's really hard for and they don't enjoy it will fall off. But it's about getting them in that first class. And I think a TV show like this can go a long way in doing it. Next item on the list. There are rumors swirling around that 2K is bringing back Joe Montana football this summer exclusively for Xbox One and for PC, which this would be a huge exclusive for Xbox, in my opinion. And this is all just kind of speculation and a lot of like random stuff being brought together, but it's been hinted at that the Joe Montana football franchise is going to make a return, but they've been real hush-hush about it. But according to some people on the internet, I have it
Because
here.
that means it's true.
Right. Where was the name at? I can't find the name. There was a name on here.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that sports gamer TJ Lauerman, he's jumped on this to know that it's happening. But where's the name? This article looks different than when I opened it earlier. Anyway, but what they've said is like this game has been shown to certain people who are under NDAs now that can't really talk about it, but this is something that is definitely going to be coming, and it's going to be coming exclusively for the Xbox One and PC. Ben, you and I, we're really the only two Madden players in here. How interested would you be in 2K bringing back the Joe Montana football series?
I never played the 2K Joe Montana football series.
Did you ever play NFL 2K?
Nope.
No?
Mm-mm. Madden was my first introduction to football games, and I've kind of fallen off the Madden wagon.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't even get Madden 15, did you?
Mm-mm.
No, you did.
Well, I got it for like
Well, you had it for like a week, if anything.
We played through a season, I think.
See, I've played Madden since Madden 95, and then in 2004, Madden 2005 and NFL 2K5 came out, and NFL 2K5 at the time was $20, and I was like, well, I'll pick up NFL 2K, and so I bought it, put it in, and I talked about it last week where I went back and played it, a couple years ago, and it disappointed me. But at the time, it was crazy. Like, you had Chris Berman doing Sports Center, and you had the ESPN overlays, and you had, it was a much more true to television experience than Madden was at the time. And they did a really good job with the system that they had developing this game. And I think, depending on how long they've worked on this Joe Montana 16, this game can be equally as special as NFL 2K5. And really, if nothing else, I'm excited about the fact that Madden's going to have competition, because they've kind of gotten complacent. Madden 15 was good. Madden 25 was garbage, though.
Terrible.
And it seems like every few years they have a game that's good, but if a game steps in that's releasing annually as well, they're going to have to step up their game, and every year have to have a title that speaks for itself. So this is a big win for Xbox. For sports gamers on Xbox, they kind of get the shaft in the sense that there's no Major League Baseball license game, but to have an exclusive competitor to Madden, I think is a really big deal. Next item on the list. In April, Games with Gold will double the free games that you receive. So you're going to receive 2 games for the Xbox One and 4 for the 360. This was just according to a picture that was tweeted out by Microsoft. So, cool. Yeah, I think that's
cool,
really
yeah.
cool. I think it's just for April. This isn't going to be the standard that they go, but to give a month where they give something extra to their Games with Gold people will be good. And especially if it's 2 totally new games. It's not just because right now there's 2. You get IDARB and Rayman Legends, so I assume they're going to add two more.
I
Did
feel
we
like
get
that's kind
2
of
for-
been an ongoing thing of there's just an overlap. They announce the game, then it stays free the next month. I've seen that happen a few months, I feel like.
Crimson Dragon.
So it's not I don't know. I wouldn't consider that releasing 2 free games in a month.
Wasn't BioShock supposed to be free on 360?
Yeah.
It wasn't. I downloaded.
Yeah, it is
earlier.
now. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, they I saw it on Reddit this morning that it is now available to download. So if you want to go download it. And GTA Online Heists released this week to a slew of server issues. And again, in recent news, water is wet and the sun is hot because apparently, and I know this from the little bit I tried to play GTA Online, is that it only worked half of the times that I tried to do it, where it wouldn't let me on the servers.
I don't know. I never really had any kind of problems with getting online. I mean, there was some. It was slow. It was slow, super slow. But
yeah, when the heist first released this week, the servers just shut down. Nobody was able to access GTA Online, and it's just stress test your stuff and know what you can handle. And if you can't handle it, release stuff out in stages. And that way you're not open. But when you release it all at one time, especially something that people have been waiting on for 7.5 years, then yeah, you're going to get a bunch of people coming on there. Next item on the list, Homefront, the Revolution. You're our Homefront fan here. Which is the open world.
What? I missed that detail.
You missed
when I
that
read
detail? Oh, yeah. It's going to be an open world game.
Sweet.
But it is being delayed to 2016.
I just love fighting commies.
Yeah, I don't know much about the story. So.
You ever seen Red Dawn?
Nope.
What?
No.
that movie
Is that a movie? Because I
Yeah.
don't watch movies.
It's super awesome.
You're just a constant disappointment to me.
Just
But yeah, the premise is that. Well, the premise of Red Dawn is that a bunch of kids out of high school, communists invade America, and these kids have to fight them off. Then there's a remake. We won't get into that.
Didn't they make a remake? Was it the North Koreans then?
Yeah.
The remake's so much better.
But the Homefront, the premise is that North Korea launches this weapon that an EMP blast that takes out all of America's electronics. Which really, if we lost our electronics, we'd be pretty crippled real fast. And so then they take advantage of that and invade our country. And so the premise of the game is that for the first time, in a very long time, Americans are fighting on their own land, trying to take their place back. Yes.
Is this the same Korea that barely knows how to use the internet?
That's the one. Oh,
Okay.
they partner with somebody. I want to say it's China,
Oh, then we might
but
be
I'm
in
not
trouble.
sure.
Makes sense.
But
Yeah.
it was real interesting. There's like this intro video in the first Homefront, and they predicted Kim Jong Un's death within 5 days.
My God.
Wow.
So I'm just convinced that Homefront's going to come to pass. But the campaign was very enjoyable. The multiplayer was good, but really ticked me off because the EA Battle Pass.
Well, now you'll know to buy the game
Yeah.
this time around.
They don't have that anymore, do they? They don't do the EA Battle Pass anymore.
I don't trust EA with anything.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
No.
I'm not going to take any chances, though.
That's a game I always wanted to play, the Homefront series, or I guess the Homefront game. But it was one of those. It was back when I like had a very limited amount of games I could buy, because I didn't buy them. I got money from my parents, and that was just one of them. I was like, do I want this or do I want Call of Duty? And I said, well, Call of Duty. So that would be cool to go back and do they have all of them on 360?
All of what?
The Homefront game.
It's just
There's
one.
It's just
Yeah.
one. It's just
Yeah.
one Homefront game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I'd like to give that a shot again.
Ben's got a list of like 40 games he wants to go back
Ben
on.
just went last week and bought the Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah, he bought
the legendary
250.
edition of Skyrim. What
That
else
alone
did
will
you
keep
buy?
you busy for like the next couple
I
of
bought
years.
Oblivion not too long ago.
Yeah, so you've got basically like 600 or
Fallout
700
3.
hours, 6 or 7.
Fallout New Vegas.
All right, we're over 1,000 hours of video games,
But it's. I mean,
and he's still talking about buying Homefront.
I'm just thinking, like, I'm gonna be alive for a lot more hours. So
You don't know that.
I'm hoping. If not, I'll leave my collection to somebody. I'm also I'm a budding collector now. I'm trying to start collecting retro and current gen games.
A
So,
butting?
a budding collector.
Budding.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Moving on to our reviews. And I'm not singing the jingle.
Oh, we got reviews for
for
you.
I'll let you guys handle that from now
That
on.
was even worse than usual.
Well, yeah. See what you get when
Congratulations.
you want change.
We
love
got
change.
reviews for
We'll cook up something new. Like we got reviews for you.
I'm never gonna dance again.
I'm never gonna review again. Go do your thing, Turkey.
I'm slowly coming on to your side of the fence where we may have to start a jingleless free podcast and let them keep the one with the jingle.
Jingles will help us monetize.
Tonight.
When people are downloading the Player 3 podcast album off of iTunes for $45 come to you this summer. It's got 4 tracks
hey,
on
look,
it.
look at Abducted by Sharks says.
Abducted by Shark says, if you send me a recording of this, I'll add a beat to it. Oh, man. Okay. All right, so I got a chance to play 2 games this week. Got a chance to play Battlefield Hardline. Spent like 4 hours in their multiplayer. You can go back and look. I need to export that stuff to YouTube. You can go back and watch me play through it. In comparison to the beta, I felt like the full release of Hardline is much, much tighter control-wise. Like, I thought there were some hit detection issues with the beta. I didn't feel like they got the controls as tight as they wanted them. All that stuff seems to be fixed. But the one thing that we mentioned after the beta was that the shotguns were incredibly overpowered in the sense of their range, where you could be standing, quite a ways away from me and shoot me in the leg and it'll kill me. That has not been fixed. I feel like the shotgun still needs to be nerfed, but I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't feel belabored to play the 4 hours that I did just because we were streaming it and wanting people to take a look at it. It's just the heist mode is really fun, where you've got to deliver the bags from the vault, the loot from the vault to the extraction point before you get out of tickets. That was a lot of fun. Played Conquest. One of the things that they don't have in it though, and this was upsetting because it's my favorite game mode in Battlefield, is Rush.
Yeah.
Rush is my favorite mode, but I guess they just
completely just kicked it off for me just now.
no Battlefield.
I won't be touching this game.
Yeah, Rush was the thing that really set Battlefield apart for me. But they do have 64-player team deathmatch.
What?
Which is really fun.
I wasn't nearly as interested than I was for Rush.
Are the graphics any better than they were in the beta?
I mean, it looks about the same. And
Not that they were terrible, but
no,
they just weren't up to that DICE standard we're used to.
well, and it just looked like it feels just like a skin change. Like it could have been. I didn't want to jump into the single player because you only get to play an hour of it with the early access. So I didn't do that. But I was like, they should have just released this as a multiplayer expansion pack. Added maps, added skins, added the game mode. Put a $30 price tag on it, call it a day. Like, I don't know why this needed to be a full release. I don't imagine the story is going to be all that awesome.
How do the class things work?
You still have your standard classes, except they took out LMGs. There are no.
So medics, you don't have a medic?
No, you do have a medic, but they just carry around like little submachine guns. They don't have LMGs.
So you got a support class, an assault class, a medic, and a
sniper. Yeah, it's called professional or something like that, not recon anymore. But they're essentially the same thing. So, Battlefield Hardline. If you're a Battlefield fan, play it. Like, you'll enjoy it. I don't know if it's worth the $60 that you pay for it because, like I said, it feels more like an expansion pack. If you enjoy the single player campaigns of Battlefield, then definitely pick it up because. It's got a whole new story to it.
I honestly only played Battlefield for Rush.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only game I really like playing on Battlefield. Team Deathmatch was okay, but...
I'm glad to see that there's a Battlefield game that may work at launch, though.
That was cool. The shocking thing was I played... we played for 4 hours and didn't have a single issue. And it found games quickly. There was like no time between matches. It was awesome.
They did promise this game will work at launch. So,
and this is further proof that if a game needs to delay, let them delay and let them work out the kinks and figure it out. And plus, this game would have gotten buried, I think, in November. So for them to say, "Hey, we're gonna wait till March to release this thing," I thought was great. I might play a little bit more of it tonight. I'm not positive yet before my early access runs out. But if I had to do a review and a word for this game, it would just be the word skin. Like, it's a skin to Battlefield 4. The other game I got to play this week was Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number. And this game, twin stick, top-down shooter, super brutal. I kind of describe it as a puzzle shooter. And I only say that because of the, like, one hit and you're dead kind of deal that you've just got to really... figure out where guys are and figure out how you want to approach each floor level. And I'll give my review in a word early here because it's brutal. It's as brutal as the first one was. And you have all these different characters have different special abilities. You can dodge bullets. There's one that has fatal throws, like when you throw your weapon, if you hit somebody with that weapon, it'll kill them, which is really cool. But the game is just super brutal. It's what Hotline Miami 2 is. Hotline Miami 1 was known for that in its soundtrack, and Hotline Miami 2 just continues in that vein. Does it excellent. Like, they didn't need to tweak much from Hotline Miami 1 to make it better, and I think they understood that and just wanted to release another game that was. This one's even harder, I would say. Like, it's super challenging, and so if you are on PlayStation, you got $15 and don't know what to spend it on Hotline Miami 2. You'll really enjoy it. So, now moving on to our final segment, and it's awesome because somebody in the chat asked this question earlier, and I had already put it in here. The random question of the week.
Random question of the week for the month for this week.
It makes no sense.
My God.
It makes all the sense in the world.
It makes sense when the Lord Jesus comes down off a cloud and because he just heard that great sound. And will that happen? Is that in the Bible?
If the Lord returns while we're singing random question of the week of the month for the week, that would be awesome. All right, here's our random question for the month for the week for the month for the week. What has been your favorite console of all time? Out of every console ever released, what is your favorite console of all time? And I'm going to scroll up and find who asked this earlier and give them a shout out. And I'm trying to figure out who that was. So you guys be thinking. I'm going to be up here. It was Jimmy Jam 55. Thanks for the question, Jimmy Jam 55.
Jimmy Jam.
So what was your favorite console?
First?
Okay, Larry, what was your
First
favorite
last week.
console of all time?
I've thought long and hard for the last 30 seconds. And my answer surprises me. The Nintendo GameCube.
I could see that.
Um,
That was a really popular system.
It was the last time Nintendo was like really up with the rest of the systems. And I've said this a billion times. I love Nintendo, and I wish they would release a console completely relevant to the generation with the graphics that are appropriate and online capabilities that are worth investing in. But it had such a wide variety of games. I had shooters. A lot of people, GoldenEye's their favorite old school shooter. For me, it was James Bond Agent Under Fire. Loved that game. I poured lots of hours into that with just hanging out in my friends' houses, slaughtering each other. Super Mario Sunshine was a great platformer. You had...
And I was wondering, you had the little hose thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's... didn't Resident Evil... Yeah, Resident Evil came to GameCube, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
that when
they
Resident
brought
Evil 4
out Resident
first
Evil-
came over to Nintendo?
Right.
So you had survival horror on it.
Well, no, they had Resident Evil 2 on the N64.
They had
But,
Resident
that's
Evil.
that's
Okay.
beside the point.
Yeah, but 4 was a game changer for that series. What was some other cool stuff? There was one more that I want. Oh, Animal Crossing, weird game that I really enjoyed. You ever played Animal Crossing, Luke? Do you know about it?
It spawned a huge cult following too.
It-
Like, there's a ton of people who are all about that game.
It took an entire memory card, but it creates this world, and the world continues to exist even when you're not playing the game.
It's like a persistent game.
And the time of the day and the time of the year were the same in the game. So certain times of the year, things would happen, like stuff would happen on Halloween. And like if I logged on to it today, like all of my patrons in my town would be real upset with me for not being present for so long, and my town would be overrun with weeds. But it still exists, even though I haven't played it in like a decade and a half. So real awesome.
We should. You don't have that memory card, do you?
Yes.
We should totally go open up Larry's Animal Crossing world. You still have your GameCube, right? Because you don't
I
trade
have,
stuff
to,
in.
I have to grab it from West Virginia next time I'm in. But
Yes,
we can do it.
All right, when you go to West Virginia, grab your GameCube. When you come back, we're going to figure out a way to stream the GameCube, first of all. And we are going to stream Larry's Animal Crossing world 10 years later.
Yes, I love this.
Boom. Love it. I'm giving everyone high fives. They're
Yeah,
all
man.
around. Great idea, fellas.
I loved the controller. It's a great system. And something that I wish they would have capitalized on, if you look at the bottom of a GameCube, it was set up for the hardware to get online. They just never really did anything with it that I'm aware of. But my favorite system all time, hands down.
All time, huh?
For me, my favorite console of all time, and this is interesting because I consider myself a PlayStation fanboy because I loved all of my PlayStation consoles actually, but my favorite of all time, and not necessarily for the games, but for the memories I created around those games, was my N64. The N64 was my gift console back in the day. I had the translucent orange one, but I remember staying up all night in the basement with one of my best friends playing GoldenEye on it. Me and my brother playing Triple Play Baseball 2000 with Sammy Sosa on the front back when, and we've always been really anal about like having the rosters be totally correct, and so we'd get the rosters all right, spend an entire day like making all the trades and all that stuff because they didn't have roster updates then. Starting a season with a team, getting 2 days in, being like, let's start a new one, and having to completely redo the rosters all over again. Playing Madden 2001 with Eddie George on the front of it all the time. I loved my my N64.
I feel like Nintendo's going to have this across the board because for guys our age, the N64 or like the Game Boy Color were the systems to have no matter who you were. PlayStation was really cool. Xbox, when it first came out, was really cool. But I remember the day I got my Game Boy Color. It was the first system I ever had. It was my handheld. I took it everywhere I went. I got the red and blue versions of Pokemon for some reason because my parents didn't know that there was basically no difference between them other than Pokemon. I had to buy a link cable to trade with myself.
Yeah. So you can have all the starters on your party.
Right, but it was just so much fun. I took that thing really everywhere I went with me, and I just had the time of my life. I remember getting my N64 maybe a year or two after that, going through Ocarina of Time, which I had no understanding of, and Majora's Mask. It was just I sold my N64 to Carter Minner freshman year of high school for $25. And it was probably the biggest mistake I ever made.
Yes.
Here's Carter Minner's telephone number.
Gosh, we should.
Right,
Gosh, I thought being last would make this easier, but it doesn't at all.
Can I pick 4?
Per generation.
I've got a lot. I've got a lot of good memories. I wanted to say, that my favorite would be the GameCube, but I never owned a GameCube. honestly, but I played a ton of GameCube. Like a lot of my friends had GameCubes, and I would play, and I always the controller was always my favorite controller. Like even to this day, I got like knockoff GameCube controllers from my Wii, and I still use that. I mean, I love that controller.
It's still the best way to play Smash Brothers on the Wii.
Yeah,
I wish you could use it on the Wii U
easily, but they got that adapter for the Wii U. Yeah, so you can do it.
Oh man, you guys just get ready to get destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, good luck finding one of those adapters, because they're apparently real hard to find.
Well,
We'll poo-poo on
But
you,
I'm
sir.
gonna say, oh gosh, it's such a difficult question. My favorite console of all time is a newer console. It's my 360, and I'll tell you why.
Please do.
That was the first console I ever purchased with my own money. It was the first console I ever bought all the games for on my own. That was the first console that I played online with. That was the first console that I kind of Halo. That was my first experience with Halo, and there's a ton of memories that I made with friends and things on my Xbox that I don't know. I remember it more than I remember my N64 or my Super Nintendo or my PS2 or it was just an awesome console.
How many of them did you red ring?
Huh? 3.
Okay.
How many 360s did you red ring?
0.
Really?
And I actually bought one from the Red Ring era, and it worked up till we sold it a year and a half, 2 years ago.
You sold a console?
Or maybe we gave it away to somebody. We don't have it anymore, but it didn't break. We
have a
passed it.
Slim?
We either sold it or passed it away. Yeah, we got one of those now.
Okay.
I had one red ring on me, but then I had the other. There was an issue with the disk drive on some where it would make this terrible grinding noise because the magnet on the inside that would normally hold the disk down would get flipped and stick to the top of it. And so I went through 2 360s.
I went through. I only lost one, but it wasn't a red ring. It was some kind of minor connectivity issue, and I just took it to GameStop, and they bought it for $20 cash, and that was probably also a mistake. Probably could have got it fixed for $100, but I was in college. No one has that kind of money in college.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
I can't eat ramen anymore because of college. I can never eat another bowl of ramen, or I will just puke it all over the place.
You should just go steal
You
spaghetti
should
from
try
the
it
dining
with
hall.
some crackers.
While we're streaming Animal Crossing, I'll eat ramen.
You need to eat it Mike Brummett style, where you just take the dry noodles without boiling them and pour the seasoning on top of it and take a bite out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Sounds
disgusting. Zephyr Baby said his favorite console was the GameCube. The Fez 115 says probably the 360. I've played on there since the 4th grade. Most of my gaming memories are on there.
How old are you?
I'm so old.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so old. Good
I'm
grief.
trying to see if anybody else said anything. Those were all of our responses there. So that's it, and that's all. We're finishing with the audio portion again. If you're in on the Twitch stream with us, we're going to go into the Player 3 Podcast After Party Lounge, where we just kind of interact with our viewers and answer questions. And we really kind of just get into a lot of weird discussions.
Tomfoolery.
Yeah, it's a lot of tomfoolery there. So stick around for that. But we're going to go around. We're going to give out our information and Seth's telephone number, and then we're going to get out of here.
Get it out really slowly though, because
I'm just kidding.
We're
We're not
giving
giving.
phone number away at the end of the after.
Yeah.
party.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And remember, also, if you're in the Twitch stream, that after the After Party Lounge, we will be revealing our Protagonist Madness bracket for you guys to vote on, and that'll be live on our website either tonight or tomorrow morning. So
Today was a short show.
it was a short
We're
show.
at an hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, look at us.
Wow.
All right, let's go around the circle.
I am Hubom Trader. You can find me add WhoBombTradey, all one word on PSN. You can also find me at WhoBombTradey, 3 words on Xbox Live. I'm also on Twitch at WhoBombTradey, all one word. If I find a way to get money to purchase an Elgato, I'll be streaming some 360 stuff as I work through my library. I'm trying to finish, but I'll also be streaming.
He's never gonna make it.
I'll also be streaming some Dying Light with Dizzy here once he gets gets to the point where we can play together, and I'll be streaming a little bit of Heist with old Seth Rowe over here as soon as he can get that booted up.
Get that bootied up.
Booted
up. Okay. I'm Seth. I'm Buttzors on the PSN. That's BUTTZORZ. Buttzors. You can also find me on Xbox Live at Dongzors. That's DONGZORZ. Dongzors. I've got a kind of monopoly on the whole lower body thing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Do you have a?
Do I?
We may have new viewers.
I do.
He's not here.
Okay. So, and then on the rare occasion that I do stream, you can find me at Buttzors on Twitch as well.
Buttzors.
I am on Twitch and Twitter at Lair Hunts Zombies, and that's all you really need to know.
And I am Luke Croft. You can find me on Twitter at TK from Antioch. That's ANTIOCH. You can find me on PSN at Lodger Blackman, LODGER Blackman. You can find me on Xbox Live at Download a Hoagie. And then that's really all. I stream right here on twitch.tv/Player3Podcast. So we are the Player 3 Podcast. Find us everywhere on the internet at Player 3 Podcast. Twitter is at Player 3 Podcast. Facebook.com/Player 3 Podcast. Email in your questions, player3podcast@gmail.com. You can find us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Blueberry, Stitcher, iTunes, all of those things.
Blueberry, Stitcher, iTunes, Blueberry.
And we're going to get out of here just in time for the Player 3 Podcast after show. Leanna is here, Seth. Never fear. All right, but that's it and that's all. We are the Player 3 Podcast.
Player 3 Podcast.
P3P. All right, write down 12038.
Hello, viewers.